Hello, today is a Friday, February 6th, 2026. Tomorrow I get to travel to Gwangju City where my wife and two daughters live. And I'm going to meet some businessmen there. And we will discuss some IT business like AI and something else. Then, which means I will only have to work until 12 in the afternoon. Then I will board the train at 1:30. So I am super excited about that. As we, as I did in yesterday, let's learn English by reading an English article. That habit has been with me forever. I got in touch with Pakistani people lately, so I am interested in what is going on in Pakistan. Pakistan, I thought usually was a peaceful nation, but somehow they are involved in the internal conflict. Sometimes they have conflict with India or Afghans because long time ago when the U.S. invaded Afghan refugees flowed into Pakistan, and they just stayed there for a long time, and now Pakistan wants them out of the country, right? So there's some conflict out there. So I blew my nose, right? I am doing an anti-cancer Tai Chi walk every day, and it generates some phlegms, right? Phlegms in my nose. This article is from Reuters. The title is Pakistan Sends Helicopters, Drones to End Desert Standoff, 58 Dead, by Salim Ahmed and Asif Shahzad. Thursday, February 5th, 2026, so it's quite a recent article. Aftermath of militant attacks in Quetta. A few of damaged vehicles at a police station following militant attacks in Quetta, Pakistan, February 1st, 2026. Wow, that's a recent one. Right? Quetta, Pakistan, February 4th, Reuters. Pakistani forces used drones and helicopters to wrest control of a southwestern town from separatist insurgents after a 3-day battle, police said on Wednesday, as the number of civilians and security personnel killed in the violence rose to 58. Wow, so I thought 58 insurgents were killed, but instead it's that the number 58 includes civilians and security personnel. Damn, a lot of people perished. Saturday's wave of coordinated attacks by the Baloch Liberation Army brought Pakistan's largest province to near standstill as insurgents set off explosives and exchanged fire with security forces in more than a dozen places. So that's a good expression right here. Set off explosives and exchanged fire with security forces. Right? Saturday's wave, that's another good expression. Saturday's wave of coordinated attacks by the Baloch Liberation Army. So their name is Baloch Liberation Army. brought Pakistan's largest province to a near standstill, right? Everybody don't move, stand still, no progress. So this one, sorry, I made a mistake. So I'm gonna memorize this by reading it one more time. Saturday's wave of coordinated attacks by the Baloch Liberation Army brought Pakistan's largest province, so that's the largest province, to a near standstill as insurgents set off explosives and exchanged fire with the security forces in more than a dozen places, right? Not just one place, but more than a dozen places. Security officials said they had killed 197 militants, including 41 killed on Friday in military operations that took place before the insurgents' attacks. Fighters of the BLA, the region's strongest insurgent group, stormed schools, banks, markets, and security installations across Balochstan in one of their largest operations ever, killing more than 22 security personnel and 36 civilians. Wow, so 197 militants were killed, right? And 36 civilians were also killed, and then 22 security personnel. That's a lot of lost lives, man. They were riding on motorcycles and were armed with grenades and rifles, said Nasrullah Khan, 51, who lives in the provincial capital, Quetta. So Quetta is the capital, right? Motorcycles. They were riding on motorcycles. That's good expression. They were riding on motorcycles and were armed with grenades and rifles. I wonder how they got all the artillery, ammunitions, right? Firearms. I haven't seen devastating and coordinated attacks like these before, Khan added, saying the attacks started around 5 a.m. on Saturday. So they are early birds. Sunrise attack. Trains running through Quetta have not been operating since Saturday, an official from the National Railways operator said, while mobile internet was also down across much of the province, a Reuters journalist said. Khan said he saw 3 police stations set on fire by the insurgents who wreaked havoc on the city before security forces arrived on the scene. He later saw a military helicopter firing shells at the attackers. So it is called the firing shells, right? Firing shells at the attackers. I was with the U.S. military office for 2.5 years. Firing shells, yeah, that's common, shells. But I think of firing artilleries. Situation is now under control as there's no fighting in the city, but people are very scared and concerned about their safety, he said. Pakistan's Interior Ministry did not respond to a Reuters request for comment. Siege in the desert. In the desert town of Nushk, home to about 50,000, the insurgents seized control of the police station and other security installations, triggering a 3-day standoff. On January 31st at around 5:30 in the morning, some miscreants snuck into our homes and took over the property, said Assistant Commissioner Doshk Maria Shamoon, that's a good name, Shamoon, adding the attackers took over the government complex and held the deputy commissioner hostage. Right? Held the deputy commissioner hostage. Miscreants. Insurgents, miscreants, creative, right? Creation. Miscreants snuck into our home. Some miscreants snuck into our home. Police said 7 officers were killed in the fighting before they regained control of the town late on Monday. Residents there were recovering without power on Wednesday, local security official Colonel Ansar Ali said. So some miscreants snuck into our homes, held the deputy commissioner hostage. Helicopters and drones were used against the militants, said one security official, adding operations against the BLA continued elsewhere in the province. Some officials gave details of the situation on condition of anonymity, as they were not authorized to speak to the media. Late-night attacks, mineral-rich Balochstan borders Iran and Afghanistan, and is a home to Beijing's investment in the Gwadar deepwater port and other projects. Wow, so China is expanding in Pakistan too. And the Balochstan borders, mineral-rich Balochstan borders. Balochstan. I got to know the name somehow. It has grappled with a decades-long insurgency led by ethnic Baloch separatists seeking greater autonomy and a larger share of its natural resources. Ethnic Baloch separatists, right? The BLA said on Tuesday it had killed 280 soldiers during its Operation Heruf or Black Storm, but gave no evidence. So they have the official, right? Officials said the attacks began at 4 a.m. on Saturday with suicide blasts in Nushki and the fishing port of Pasini, and gun and grenade attacks in 11 more places, including Quetta. The insurgents seized at least 6 district administration offices, took provincial officials hostage, and had advanced at one point to within 1 kilometer of the provincial chief minister's office in Quetta, the police official said. Ahead of the attack, the BLA made announcements in mosques asking people to support them, saying they were waging a war to take over all state offices in the province, the official said. Evolving insurgency. Pakistan has blamed India for the attacks. Wow. So it spills over into India without furnishing evidence for charges that could escalate tensions between the nuclear-powered neighbors, who fought their worst armed conflict in decades in May. India's foreign ministry has rejected the charges, saying Islamabad should instead tackle the long-standing demands of its people in the region. Retired Lieutenant General Amir Riaz, who led the military in Balochistan from 2015 to 2017, said the insurgency had evolved over the last decade, adding it would likely continue to alternate between stalemate and periods of heightened violence. Stalemate. It has escalated The response will be decisive, leading to serious capacity degradation of BLA, he said, denying that the Pakistan military has used excessive force in Balochstan. Reporting by Salim Ahmed in Quetta and Asif Shahzad in Islamabad. Additional reporting by Ariba Shahid in Karachi and Mushtaq Ali in Peshawar. Writing by Saad Saeed, editing by Clarence Fernandez and Alex Richardson. So stalemate, miscreants, insurgents, some miscreants snuck into our homes, held the deputy commissioner hostages, firing shells, and they were armed with grenades and rifles. That attacks brought the largest province in Pakistan to a near standoff. Right, insurgents, many people were killed. Balochstan, BLA, not PLA. PLA is People's Liberation Army of China. China. From this article, what else I remember? Well, let's go back to photo sessions to see what I have marked to remember. Saturday's wave of coordinated attacks by the Baloch Liberation Army brought Pakistan's largest province to a near standstill as insurgents set off explosives and exchanged fire with the security forces in more than a dozen places. Right, a set of explosives and exchanged fire. Miscreants snuck into our homes, held the deputy commissioner hostage, firing shells at the attackers. They were riding on motorcycles and were armed with grenades and rifles. They were riding on motorcycles, and were armed with grenades and rifles. Saturday's wave of coordinated attacks by the Baloch Liberation Army brought Pakistan's largest province to a near standstill as insurgents set off explosives and exchanged fire with security forces in more than a dozen places. Well, that's it. I hope there's peace and satisfaction among the Balochstan people, the largest province in Pakistan, and is located in Pakistan's southwestern region. It borders with Iran and Afghanistan. Probably they got all the arms, grenades, and rifles from Afghanistan, because Afghanistan was invaded by the U.S. and they left a lot of ammunition, vehicles, and the African country suddenly became a huge, strong nation, right? Thanks for listening. I feel sleepy. Bye-bye.